Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the show. This is Back to the Window with Scott and Scott, and I am your host. I'm Scott Steehn, lead handicapper at winnersandwiners.com.
And I'm your co-host, Scott Reichel, senior handicapper over winnersandwiners.com.
And together we get together and do this every single day, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, trying to guide everybody on that journey to head back to the window. J.C. Stone in the house. What up, fellas? Nothing up. What up with you, J.C.? What's up with you, Scott?
Nothing much. Chilling. How's it going with you?
Going well. Beautiful day here in Missouri. So, happy about that. How'd you do yesterday?
Overall, meh. Ended up losing a little bit. Lost a play today in hockey. The Rangers-Hurricanes game was, let's just say, a lot more low scoring than I thought it was going to be. But I did have the Flames-Oilers goal in the first 10 minutes at around minus 148, I think. And it cashed in about 21 seconds.
Nice. Outstanding.
So, I ended up losing, but I ended up losing less than what I was going to if I didn't make the second play.
King Me stopping by says best bet today is the Heat under and the Avalanche over. Don't hate either one of those plays.
I have the Avalanche puck line as my play today. So
Godspeed.
Well, I kind of had to after game one, didn't I?
Yeah, I guess. I just don't know that I trust this Colorado team to cover the puck line on a consistent basis.
It was plus 105 though.
Yeah,
that's a pretty solid price.
I know. That's why it was what minus 230 plus 105.
That's what I'm saying. So I figured with the empty netters in hockey and the fact that the Avalanche really dominated play for the entire game, it should be around minus 115, minus 120.
Yep, I agree.
So that was my logic.
Magellan Sports in the hizzy. What's up, Magellan? Richard Lynn, first-time viewer. Outstanding. Scott, we better have some compelling content right off the bat, huh?
One of us.
That's right. Welcome to the club, buddy. Wouldn't be baseball if the Yankees weren't blowing a lead to a shitty team. You can speak to that there, Yankees fan.
Should never back the Yankees when Montgomery's pitching. Okay. He is allergic to getting wins. It's impossible.
All right, fair enough. And my first 5-run line on the White Sox about to go down in flames is the Royals. That's right, the Kansas City Royals have put up 3 runs in the first 2 innings. Jesus.
That is unexpected.
It is unexpected, and just as unexpected as Carlos Hernandez having 2 clean innings to start. But I have faith in him to shit the bed here in the next 3 innings, so we'll see what happens. Hey, quick reminder now that we've got some folks in the room, don't forget to hammer that like button, give us the thumbs up. Subscribe to both the YouTube channels, Winners and Winers YouTube channel and the Max Wagers Network YouTube channel. Check out all the great offerings at the Max Wagers Network, on the Max Wagers Network. Yeah, on the neck. Okay, there you go. 12 o'clock, midday money with Sean Higgs. I'm not even gonna do it to you, Scott. 1 o'clock, Allie Burns doing Morning Wood. 2 o'clock brings Chris King and I doing Just Parlays. You'll find Scott and I here every day at 3. 4 o'clock, Sean Miller talking about soccer from around the world. And we bring it all on home at 5 p.m. Eastern with Nick and Tim Earl and Detroit Lenny doing Game Time Decision. So that's about that. Of course, don't forget about the great deal at Caesars. Great opportunity. You want to make that first bet count. If you're in a state where Caesars exists, please take advantage of this. First-time depositors, first-time bettors. They will guarantee your play up to $1,100. Very, very simple. If you make a bet, they will reimburse you if you lose. It is bet insurance, if you will. And unlike regular insurance, it's not a scam. It's a real deal. It costs you nothing, and you are guaranteed to be at least even after that first bet. So, take advantage of that. The code is ATS wins Caesar, CZR. That is in the description for today's video, along with the link that'll get you going. You must be 21 to play, except in Wyoming and New Hampshire, where you have to be 18. So, there you go. IC likes the Florida Panthers just bounce back on the money line today. Are the channels ever getting completely merged? Asked Max. Just curious. Me too. Yes, I don't know. They will always be, as I understand it, they will always be their own separate entity. Picks and parlays will always exist. Winners and Winers will always exist. But I think the goal is to grow Max Wagers Network. And funny story, I'll have a lot more information because we have a meeting on Monday night about the Max Wagers Network. So I'll probably have more information for you next Tuesday about that. So Magellan talking a little soccer. Burnley at plus 305, some solid value on the road against Aston Villa. Scott?
Well, Burnley is in the middle of, let's just say, a relegation threat, so they could use all the points they could possibly get. Aston Villa really does not have much to play for at this point. If you want to make an argument, they could play the ultimate spoiler over the weekend because Aston Villa is playing against Man City, and if Man City wins, they end up winning the Prem, or if they actually tie based on goal differential, they should be able to win the Prem anyway. So if you want to go for a spoiler approach, Aston Villa potentially might be overlooking this game for the Man City game. But when it comes to the motivation, Burnley's right now tied for the final spot, technically in relegation, but they do have the tiebreaker. So they are in 17, 18 through 20 get relegated. So yeah, Burnley could use any points possible. I don't mind the motivation angle, but Aston Villa has nothing to play for. And you could argue they're looking ahead to Man City.
Very good.
City should kill them, but I mean, what is Aston Villa playing for?
Yeah, and Max points that out. City should win that one 4-0. Certainly could happen.
They should.
Yep. Agreed. That was little soccer break. Aston Villa always sounds like they should be playing in like the Spanish league. It doesn't sound like an EPL team.
They haven't been a serious contender in the EPL for a couple decades at this point, so they're usually hovering around mid to bottom half. Usually not relegation bad, but somewhere in that bottom half. And yeah, it's where they are again.
Once again, I think relegation should be used in every sport. Can you imagine, like in college football, like Vanderbilt gets sent down, and I was going to say Cincinnati. Of course, they're moving to the Big 12, but
send them North Dakota State.
North Dakota State, Coastal Carolina. They get bumped.
Houston State.
They get bumped up to the SEC. I think that'd be great.
For conferences, I don't know. For D1, I'm okay with it.
I think that'd be wonderful. There you go. What would Villa play for, Scott? What would they play for?
Well, he's mentioning the fact that, Gerrard would like to see his former club on top. That goes to my point, where you might see a good effort from Aston Villa in the season finale. That's not this game. That's the next game. So, once again, that kind of goes back to my point. You can argue about reasons why with Gerrard and how, it might pay off to potentially play spoiler, but Aston Villa's had nothing to play for months. Once they've been pretty much clear of relegation for the last month and change, and you're not going to make Europa or Champions League, you're kind of just stuck in purgatory.
Max says we should be saying Aston Villa. It's the English pronunciation.
I like to say Villa. It's a force of habit. Spanish, one of my favorite players was David Villa. So, force of habit, I guess.
There you go. All right, my friend. Well, let's talk a little bit about what happened yesterday. By the way, if you're looking to get more of my plays, I do have my best picks available. I do have my premium plays available in the description for today's video. If you want to check that link, be happy to get you hooked up. We're running pretty good lately. Scott, it was an interesting day yesterday. A lot of things going on. Let's check some of them out. Let's find out who were the winners, who were the whiners, who were the people that, they just had to pull out that flip phone and call the cops. All right, very good. Let's get it rolling as we do, and we'll talk a little bit about what are we gonna start with today. We're gonna start in the major leagues, of course. You had the Atlanta Braves on the money line against the Brewers. They're up 4-3 after 8 innings. Hey, Atlanta, get a bullpen. Brewers RBI triple, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. Braves, they go on to lose in extras for want of a closer, Scott. If you had the Braves on the money line there, sorry, guys, call the cops.
And looking at the Angels and Rangers under 8, you had 6 runs in the first 8 innings, and you had the Rangers up 4-2. So as long as the Angels don't score 2 in the top, you're good to go. They did. They had a game-tying 2-run homer in the top of the 9th. You're going extras at 4-4, so you lost automatically. But the game landed 11 after extra innings.
Who ended up winning that game, Scott?
I believe the Rangers did.
Yep. Angels found a buzzsaw down there in Texas.
Yep.
Hey, if you had the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers over 8.5, 7 runs in the first 4 innings, what could possibly go wrong? Well, they could just score 1 run in the next 5, and that's exactly what happened. That game landed 8. If you had the 8.5, so sorry, good play, except no, it wasn't. call the cops.
Yeah, I thought the Dodgers would win that game by 3+ runs. They were leading by 3+ runs for pretty much the entire game, and then they were not. And the offense decided to give Arizona's bullpen a nice day off.
Yep, absolutely true. Well, there was some good news out there. These were the people that had nice, easy victories. You didn't have to sweat nothing. Didn't have to sweat overtime. Didn't have to sweat extra innings. No miraculous comebacks because you spent your Wednesday evening ensconced in the rocking chair.
So the first one, if you had the Warriors -5.5 against the Mavericks, they led by 9 points at halftime, and it got a lot worse for Dallas in the second half because the Warriors won by 25.
The Warriors, I guess it's fair to say they came out to play, Scott.
Yes, they did.
If you had the Mets Cardinals over 7, well, that one didn't have to worry about too much because they put up 8 runs in the first 5 innings. Hey, go cut the grass, man. You got the rest of the day off. That game landed at 15, but you were well into mowing the backyard by that time. If you had the Mets Cardinals over 7, you're in a rocking chair.
And the last one, if you faded my play of the day, if you had the Rangers and Hurricanes under 5.5, you had 1 goal in, well, the first 7 minutes. And then you had no goals for the next 49 minutes. So 1 goal in the first 56, and not good for an over 5.5, but the game ended up going to overtime. It didn't matter. It was 1-1. Game landed 3, not even close to 5.5.
Brutal. All right. There was one game yesterday where we talked about it a little bit, but we're going to have to talk about it a little more in depth here. It would appear that they, would it be fair to say they kind of missed on the total, Scott?
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, I think that's one way to put it indeed. Hey, odds makers, you know what? You do a pretty good job day in, day out, but every once in a while, somebody comes in and they've spent just a little too much time at happy hour. Let's find out who it was yesterday on the Thursday edition of Your Odds Makers. Man, they might be drunk. Go ahead.
So, in the late hockey game, you had the battle for Alberta, round 1, between the Oilers and the Flames. Total was 6.5, and we saw a couple of totals of 7 in the first day. This total was at 6.5. Should have been 14.5 because you had a lot of goals. If the Flames scored 2 goals in the first minute, you had 4 goals in the first period, you had 7 goals alone in the second period, and then you had 4 more goals in the third period. So for a total of 6.5, each team reached 6 goals. The Flames scored 9, and the total game landed 15.
Is that one of the higher scoring playoff games you remember, Scott?
Yes, it is actually the highest scoring game that I could remember for a playoff game. 9-6 in a playoff game. When the hell do you ever see that?
Playoffs?
Talk about the playoffs?
Man. All right.
Both goalies were awful.
You think?
I was going to say Smith got pulled 7 minutes into the game.
I'll take shit you don't have to say for 500, Alex.
He gave up 3 goals and I think 9 shots.
Oh, there's the Smith that we've been waiting on.
And then Markstrom was goalie for Calgary, and he gave up 6 goals in the first 20 shots. It was really bad. But the Flames buckled down defensively in the final 17 minutes, and they won the game 9-6.
Boy, that is saying something when they say they buckled down for an entire period and only gave up 6 goals.
They gave up no goals in the final 17 minutes. That counts for something.
I know. I understand. Just saying it sounds funny when you say it.
Yep.
All right. So we got kind of a short card tonight. What do we got? 3 actionable baseball games, NBA and 2 hockey, right? We got 6 games total.
Yep.
You know it's fun. Scott? Doing a parlay show with 6 games when you're giving out 2 2-teamers, a 4-teamer, and then 10 of your favorite plays.
Can you cheat and do a round robin?
No, man.
That's not an option?
No, apparently not. I mean, it's an option on anything we give you, but God bless Chris King. He's doing the Lord's work out there. All right, so let's start. Let's get baseball out of the way. Let me check in with the comment section here because I always have to catch up after doing all of that. How about those Reds? Reds getting it done today. Let's check on some scores.
They're playing the Guardians. They are up 4-1.
Okay. Hey, the White Sox got a run. The Padres up 2-0 on the Phillies. Mets up 5-3 on the Cards once again. Like I said, the Reds are up 4-1 over the Guardians. So we've got 3 more games tonight. Got Mariners, Red Sox, Diamondbacks, Cubs, and the Rangers and the Astros. Pick one and extol the virtues of betting it.
I was going to say, I like the Astros -1.5. You're looking at just the two teams in comparison. Texas seems to struggle against every team not named the Angels. And the Astros, of course, are still the best team in the division right now. If you want to look at the actual pitching matchup, you have Otto against Valdez. I know both of us like Valdez. 2.93 ERA. You have Otto, who was okay last year when he got called up midway through the season. This year, not so much. ERA of 6.38. He's walked 10 batters in 18 innings, which is not exactly ideal. And the Astros are also 3-1 against the Rangers this season. I just think they're the much better team. I get that they're at home, so you might be missing an at-bat there, but I think Valdez is so much better than Otto, and I like how the Astros have played at home. I'll take the Astros -1.5.
Yeah, Otto had been okay in his first 3 starts. He'd given up just 5 earned over 14 in the third inning. That's going to be 3.6 ERA, something like that. But he absolutely got lit the fuck up last time out.
And Boston can't hit.
Against Boston, yeah. 4 innings, 8 hits, 8 earned, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, and not 1, but 2 long balls. Not ideal at all. So it may be another bad spot for Otto. We'll see how that goes. Valdez has been really good this last time out. Decent. He had quality starts. The 2 starts before that, or actually the 3 starts before that. So talk about a wipeout slider. Framber Valdez, everybody.
That's a good pitcher, but the home numbers are not great for Valdez, which is a concern. But faced Texas once this season, 6 innings, 1 run, not earned. So, yeah, he kind of killed Texas the first time, and I like what I've seen. So I'll take a -1.5.
Damien asking about the Heat team total under 104.5. Says if the Celtics double team Butler, they shouldn't crack triple digits. You agree with that?
I do like Miami's bench, so I'm not going to fully agree with that, but we have had some injury news over the afternoon.
Yep.
Al Horford is back, which is pretty important. Now, Derek White is going to be missing this game because he is having a child. Well, his wife is.
Oh, I was going to say, that should be something to see. So
yeah,
he'll be out for a while.
Scientific miracle, but he will not be there because he's going to the hospital to spend time with his significant other, so
right.
Congrats to them. But that also means Peyton Pritchard should be playing a lot of minutes because Smart's going to be playing at, 50% health in this game?
That's to me, the Jimmy Butler question comes down to Marcus Smart's foot.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if Smart's going to really be able to move that much, but I'll tell you that Pritchard got absolutely torched defensively throughout that entire game 1. So I do think Miami's bench can give Boston some problems. Vincent and Strus are both questionable. I'm assuming they're going to play because they were both pretty good in game 1. Vincent was great.
Yep.
Strus was good down the stretch.
Yep.
The truth is, going into this game, I like Miami because I was expecting Horford to miss, but now I'm not really sure because the line's been moving a lot in favor of Boston because, of course, the injury news is now benefiting Boston. You have any thoughts on this? Because I don't know if Horford was just in close proximity. I don't know if he actually had it. Is there a chance that he might be battling some internal side effects if he did have it?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it was everything happened so fast.
That's why I was asking.
That I don't think that I don't think you're symptomatic if you're cleared in 3 or 4 days.
I'm assuming he's not symptomatic, but
yeah.
I am kind of just throwing it out there for the sake of throwing it out there.
I don't think so. I think he'll be all right stamina wise. Full disclosure, we will tell you everybody the reason that we were late getting on the air is we had to call a last minute audible on a player prop as we had Williams over 9.5 rebounds, and that
we had the points for
points rather. Sorry,
we had the points, but then Horford came back,
right.
So we figured Williams is going to have to play more, and now. Yeah, he's back, so we decided to call an audible, and we went somewhere else.
Yeah, figured Williams would be playing less with Horford coming back. He's
going to play more with Horford out.
Yeah, just to be clear.
Horford back in, we expect Horford to play a decent amount of minutes at the 5.
So if you're used to reading the scroll with our bullet points that we have, it will not be there today. I didn't have time to throw everything on the scroll, so or the crawl rather, for the TV people, but. We will have the play up there, but you're going to have to pay attention as far as the bullet points go.
Do you have any thoughts on the game, though?
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people like Boston now, but Miami at home, still undefeated in the playoffs.
I know. I really thought, you know what? I really thought Boston would get one of these. I still think I still think Miami has a great shot to win the series. Well, I mean, obviously, even with that happening, I still thought Miami had a great shot to win the series. I'm not going to go back on that, especially with Boston getting healthier. I think Boston evens the series here tonight.
For me, going into the series, I thought Boston would get smacked in Game 1 and win Game 2. That was my initial thought.
Right.
But with Smart on the court, I am curious if it's going to be a Lowry situation where he's there, but because of his physical limitations with the injuries, you can make an argument that he might be a liability. And Smart provides a lot of toughness for the overall Celtics team. But if he's going to be matched up on Butler and he can't move, is he really going to do much?
Well, that's the thing. If Smart is hobbled, if he's 60%, it's barely.
I got to assume he is, right? I mean, his foot isn't going to go from sore and tender to perfectly fine the span of a day and a half.
I don't know, man. Weird things happen at that level. They're able
Just
to.
saying.
Magellan says Miami's going to wax him. Says don't overthink it. He said after that, take the Celtics series line one down too.
That was actually my initial idea going into it, but I don't know. Miami only laying 2 despite being undefeated at home. It is kind of tempting to take the Heat.
Didi's got the Heat on the money line. Said the Red Sox money line and the Arizona money line. We didn't talk about the total. What do you think of that total? It's come down.
Of course it went down because Horford's back.
Well, it didn't come down with Horford. It came down with Smart. It came down.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
It came down from 208.5 or 208 to 206.5 on the Smart news.
I think I'm still going to lean to the over.
Okay.
Just because of the fact that both teams offensively looked pretty comfortable in Game 1 at different points. But I do question, with Derek White being out and with Smart being less than 100%, well below 100%, do I think both defenses will be in tip-top shape? I don't. I think both teams offensively can actually create problems for each other defensively. And it's also a very low total. It's not like it's going to take much for this game to go over. We saw Tatum have a great first half, awful second half, but he showed he's capable of torching this Heat defense. He'll make some adjustments. Jaylen Brown might play better, but as a whole, Miami's bench is definitely going to give Boston's bench some problems. Pritchard still can't guard anybody, and I do think that you will see both teams have moments offensively. It's not going to be easy. I'll take the over. I think one of these teams can get to 107. That's good enough for me.
Okay. You're talking about when you're kind of playing with fire there when you got a low total. We saw a great case of that in the Phoenix game when they scored 37 points in the first half. Game still went over.
27.
That's right, 27. Sorry, 17 and 10. Yeah, 27. And the game still went over the total of whatever the fuck it was, 208.5 or whatever. So it just takes one bad quarter. Having said that, I like the under here, and I'll tell you why. I think with Smart and Horford back, they schematically play the same defense that they've played all season. Now, whether they're able to execute it with people being less than 100%, that's another question. But I think part of the reason that defense struggled in the first game is because with different personnel, you can't play. You schematically can't play the same defense. You can't match up the same way. So I think that will help them get back in the rhythm. I think they do slow this Miami team down enough to keep it under the total.
I think one reason why I do like the over based on the actual pace of Game 1. Game 1 was a lot faster than I thought it was going to be.
Yep.
Main reason, Miami's willing to push the pace following every forced turnover. You saw a bunch of wide open layups for Butler, for Hero, for company on steals. Miami's not afraid to push the pace against Boston, and I think they need to, because we've seen Boston's half-court defense look fantastic. I think it's part of Spoelstra's game plan to get out and run, because when Boston's defense is set, they're a lot harder to, get open shots against. So I do think some of it's game planning. Miami might try to push the pace more than people thought they were going to going into the series.
Yeah, and the thing is, they're pushing the pace and they're penetrating.
Yeah,
they're not passing it out to the perimeter to look for 3-point shots. They took just 33 point attempts in that game, which is incredibly low for this Miami team.
And Butler went to the line like 18 times by himself.
17 of 18 at the line.
I was going to say, so you might get a lot of free throws in this game just based on how aggressive these offenses will want to be. But the fact that Miami has actually tried to get out and run does make me a bit skeptical to take the under.
Fair enough. That's a legitimate point. I think that'll be curtailed a little bit with the personnel back for Boston. So we'll see.
It's going to be curtailed one simple way: stop turning the damn ball over.
Well, that's very true. Although,
so we'll see.
Yeah, Boston with 16 turnovers last time out.
It wasn't good.
Not ideal at all. Okay. Hockey.
Well, I got to play on the Avalanche because
got the puck
kind of have to.
Got the puck line there, right?
You're going to give me plus money for a team that just drastically outplayed the other team, and the only reason why it was close was an all-time goalie performance. I'll take plus money. But
do you care that Binnington's save prop went from 38.5 to 32.5?
No, that actually goes to my point. They're expecting Colorado to get about 40 shots on net. I mean, it really goes back to the pace of play. I still like the over for Binnington saves because Colorado really dominated the entire game. And if you saw or watched part of it, Colorado could realistically get 17 shots on goal in any given period.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen this before.
Yeah.
So the total for saves does not actually bother me. The only concern is if Colorado's up 2 goals with 4 minutes to go, are you losing 4 minutes of Binnington because they're going to pull the goalie several times? That's really the only concern.
Yep.
I still like the over, but that kind of touches upon why I like the Avalanche. I mean, you can't control how many shots will get past the goalie, but you can handicap how many shots you think both teams are going to get. And the Avalanche should probably finish with 15-plus shots in comparison. That's good enough for me. And if you hit the post 5 times in Game 1, which is tied for the all-time playoff record, I think you're going to score more than 3 goals.
Yep, I think that's the logic there.
That was my logic for taking the Avalanche.
Bronco Devils.
Are you scared of the?
No. I said it on Chris's show. I said I don't give a shit.
I was going to say the save prop as well. I don't care.
No.
Colorado getting less than 35 shots in this game would be shocking to me.
I told everybody if it landed, because I said it was 31.5 and it ended up going to 32.5. I said if it landed 32, everybody could come and stand outside my house with torches. So,
Colorado should have 40 shots on net by the end of the game.
Bronco Devils got the heat with 21 plus points in each quarter, minus 105.
It's a little tricky because of the fact that Boston could clamp down defensively.
Right.
I think your biggest sweat's going to be the first quarter. Because the first quarter for Boston games have been extremely low scoring. Game 1, not so much. But against Milwaukee, they put the clamps down occasionally defensively. I think that's your biggest sweat. I think your sweat would be the first quarter. Miami, I think, should go over in each of those. But it's minus 105 for a reason, 21 plus is not a high total, but it's minus 105. You might have one quarter you might have to sweat out. And my guess would be quarter 1.
It's a milk bottle bet. I call those milk bottle bets. Like when you go to the fair and you have the 3 milk bottles and you think, how hard can that be just to knock those over? And it's way harder than you think. I think it's one of those plays like 21. That's 84 points. How could they not do that? And you look up and all of a sudden they had a bad quarter and, they
miss a bunch of shots, bunch of turnovers.
3 turnovers, 4 turnovers in a quarter, something like that. Yeah, absolutely. Tampa Bay over, says Scott Nowak, over 2.5 goals.
Well, somebody mentioned the game before. Somebody was taking Florida. Florida needs to win this game. If they lose this game, I know that hockey home ice does not matter as much compared to other home court advantages, home field advantages. But Tampa, I think, is the much better team. And Florida was the President's Trophy winner. Props to them. They barely beat Washington. They should have lost the series. If I was comparing them to an NBA team, it would be the Grizzlies. They had a bunch of come-from-behind wins. They were against a team with championship pedigree. And they basically got exposed. Of course, for Memphis' situation, they had an injury, but they also lost by 30 the game that Morant got injured in.
Mm-hmm.
I just think Tampa's better. And Tampa defensively for the last 2 games has been magnificent. And the main issue I have with Florida, they have yet to score a power play goal. The power play is broken. I want nothing to do with the Panthers. They need to win this game, but I'm actually looking at the under. If you want to go for either a team total or a full game total, Tampa's defense is dialed in. I would gladly take a team total under because this Tampa team with Vasilevsky, it takes a huge effort to score more than 3 goals against this team.
Yep, absolutely agree. Hey, I want to do something here for Scott Nowak because this is brutal. He deserves his own. Ready?
Yeah.
Had Luka over 3.5 threes. Had 3 in the first half. 0 the rest of the way. Ooh, my name is Luca, and I don't hit threes in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Scott. You got your own siren and everything, buddy. What else?
Were you surprised at all by that game one? Because that game went the way that I thought it would.
No, and I don't understand. Again, Scott, hockey isn't my main sport. To me, this seems like a mispriced situation.
I was talking about game one for the Mavericks, but we can talk about the hockey game too.
Oh well, I was talking about the
Either or. Did either of those surprise you?
No. I liked. I thought it'd be closer. I thought Golden State would win by high single
12.
digits. I thought 7-9. That's why we were talking about not playing it over 5.5 or 6.
Yeah.
I thought that got to be a sketchy number. Shit, none of that mattered at all. So
I think the
Renzo brothers, come on, White Sox. No shit, buddy. Let's go, White Sox.
The Lightning game did surprise me. I think Tampa's going to win the series. I thought that going in. I had Tampa in 6. But Florida, after losing to this team last year and after the scare against the Capitals, I thought maybe for at least one game they would be able to break through Tampa's defense and generate some odd man rushes and some good chances. That just didn't happen at all, and Tampa dominated the majority of the game. So I found that a bit surprising. But for the basketball game, not at all. On the podcast, I gave out the Warriors. I thought they would end up winning pretty easily. The Mavericks with Luka and Jason Kidd are a marathon, not a sprint type of runner. They are willing to punt games early in a series to experiment, test things out, see what works, and make adjustments as the series goes on. And we've seen that in the first 2 series. Dallas ended up losing game 1 in each of the first 2. I know Luka didn't play in game 1 against Utah, but we saw them get their ass kicked by Phoenix in the first 2 road games, even the third road game, and they made the adjustments, and they won. So I expect Golden State to get off to a hot start in the series, probably go up 2-0, see what adjustments Dallas makes when they go back home, and maybe we'll have a series on our hands. But Golden State is the better team, and they looked like it last night.
Very good. Update on the Royals-White Sox game. Why? Because it's my play of the day. White Sox have rallied. Is now 4-3. Top of the 4th. White Sox have 2 men on and a 2-0 count to Juan Moncada. And Ronald Bolaños is now pitching for the Royals instead of Hernandez, which is not great news.
I forgot what you had for your play.
First 5-run line, White Sox.
So that's a half?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just need a launch moment into the windy afternoon here, and we're good. You like Tampa team total under or Florida team total under?
I'm not touching Tampa team total under. Point, I know, is still injured, but Tampa got a lot of production from different places. Kucherov had that disgusting move on Ekblad for that power play goal. Still have Stamkos. They still have Hedman on defense, who's a solid scorer. They have a lot of weapons, and even Nick Paul's been really good. But I'd go with Florida team total under because it's really tough to like an over for a team when you're about 0 for 20 on the power play in the playoffs.
Yep.
If Florida had a top 10 power play, top 5 power play in the regular season, and that was a big piece of the offense, and it is fundamentally broken right now, I am not taking a team total over.
Can't do it. Plus, as you talked about, you got Vasilevsky on the other side.
And he's sick.
Yeah. And especially come playoff time, he finds an extra gear. He's a great goalie all year long, and then finds another gear in the playoffs. No, I'm would be much more interested in playing a Tampa Bay total over.
I'm also not a big Bobrovsky guy. So
yeah, fair enough.
I will give him props, though. He was good in the last game, so props to him there. But over the course of his playoff career, Bobrovsky is, let's just say, a lot streakier than Vasilevsky.
Yep, very true. Very true. Super slices, if Horford plays, I kind of like Boston. They're so streaky that maybe the threes will fall tonight.
Well, then do I have news for you, Super Slide? Because Horford is playing.
Yep.
It has been confirmed.
Has it been confirmed he's playing or is it confirmed he's cleared?
He's cleared. They said he's available.
Okay. That's not quite playing yet, but it looks good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. That's if there's any lingering COVID symptoms,
that's
where you would
I
find out.
I doubt it because of how quickly he got cleared, but maybe.
Sambo Williams says the Colorado run line. That's what you've got as well tonight, right?
Yeah, I got the puck line.
Yep.
I had to. I wanted to make a case for the Blues when the series started, and Bennington was my case. But watching that entire game, Colorado just they look like the best team in the league by far. It's really crazy how good that Colorado team is.
Well, my thought was the Blues would have an opportunity to steal one.
Yeah,
and I
think Game 1 was their game.
that's exactly the point I was going to make. I think Game 1 was that opportunity. You're not going to get a much better performance out of Bennington or any goalie in the world for that matter. We did it last show. It's a 94.4% save percentage.
Yeah,
51.
And even in Game 1, Colorado was up 1 with about 3 minutes to go, and the Blues scored a power play goal. So if you didn't have the questionable penalty, St. Louis is pulling the goalie, and Colorado potentially wins the game by multiple goals. So we'll see what happens, but I do think Colorado should definitely not be plus money to win by multiple goals at home.
Fair enough. That's a legit point. Man, I guess that's really about it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a pretty light card.
Really
I don't know
is.
if you want to talk about anything else. Golf. John Daly had a pretty nice run for about 14 holes, then he fell off a cliff.
Oh, that's a shame.
He went from -2 through 13 to +2 on the day. So finished with 4 bogeys in the last 5. Rory looked really good. I believe he's leading the tournament now at 5 under. Shout out to Zalatoris, though, also at 4 under. You have any takeaways on the PGA? I know we didn't exactly talk about it.
No, and that's kind of our bad because we definitely could have done that. It's just, when you've got playoff basketball and playoff hockey.
I really didn't do any research for it, to be honest.
That's what I'm saying. It's just going to it's just going to take up so much bandwidth. I'm just looking here, seeing any of the unusual names at the top. I don't know much about Tom Hoge. Do you, or Tom Hogue?
Hogue's okay.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember. I think he got in because he won an automatic qualifier tournament. Like, he won one of the other tournaments where you get an automatic entry. I forgot when he won one of those, but I'm pretty sure he did.
Okay.
I think that's why he's in there, but he's a pretty solid golfer. I can't say he's like top 10 or anything, but he's still pretty good. I know Spieth blew up today. He finished 2 over. Matsuyama was 2 over. The wind was a serious problem today. You had gusts of about 13 to 15 miles per hour, which doesn't sound like much, but it could definitely ruin some of your, I'd say, practice round comparisons when the wind is suddenly taking away about an extra 10 yards on your shot.
Yep.
That could hurt. Tiger was 4 over. Kepka's 3 over through 6.
Scheffler's even through 3.
That's actually not that bad. Yeah, through 3. But once again, with the wind, the truth is even an even or one shot under day is actually pretty good. The point is you got to just try to survive. That's kind of what the weather has been dictating today. Tiger 4 over. Not surprised. Hopefully you did not end up betting him to win the tournament.
66-1. No.
We tried to tell you.
Don't do it.
Whatever.
Don't do it.
And Koepka sucked. So a lot of good players had bad days, and that's usually because the weather was, I'd say, uncooperative.
All right. Finish up the baseball. What's the Arizona at the Cubbies? That one goes at that's a 7:40 game. You want to go against Gallen?
Not really, but the Cubs have been hitting the ball well. They did lose to Pittsburgh yesterday, which annoyed me on Total Chaos. I got 3 runs from the Pirates, and it couldn't go over.
Right.
That's the dream. I hit the lottery. The Pirates scored 3 runs. It still didn't go over. But, yeah, for me, I'm going to go with Gallen, first 5. I am such a huge Gallen guy. I have been since he was on Miami.
I think that's a solid
if you look
play.
at you look at his overall numbers, Gallen's a lunatic this season. He's so damn good. But I still don't trust Arizona's bullpen. Stroman's been a mess. He's got a 5.13 ERA. He's given up 4 home runs in 26 1/3 innings. I don't want anything to do with Stroman, but I also don't want anything to do with Arizona's bullpen. Give me Gallen first 5 at plus money. I can't really say no.
Bronco Devils got Gallen on over Ks too. Well,
the Cubs strike out a lot. So.
Yep, I see that. Dano, bases loaded. What are we doing here?
What do you think about that? Gallen, under no circumstance, should be plus money in the first 5 against Stroman. That's just crazy.
Sign me up. Sign me up for that for sure. Last game is Seattle-Boston. George Kirby against Rich Hill. Kirby, young gun, 2 really good starts. Rich Hill, the grizzled veteran, finding a little second life there with Boston so far after a few disappointing seasons. Plus money on Seattle. Am I crazy here? What are you thinking?
Well, anytime you recommend plus money or you lean to it, I'm not going to roast you for it. But Boston has been a team that has been underwhelming at Fenway this season. 6-10 overall. They've been better lately. They did take 2 out of 3 against Houston, so maybe that counts for something. Seattle's so awful on the road.
That's the
I
thing. You got a
can't
bad
handle this
road team
on the
against a
road.
bad home team. Yeah.
I was going to say, but Seattle's worse on the road than Boston is at home. Seattle's 8-14 on the road. I'm going to go with Boston.
Okay.
Boston's been underachieving all season long, but taking 2 out of 3 at home against Houston, maybe they're, I can't say turning a corner, but maybe they're still being underpriced. I'm going to go with Boston. Kirby might be a decent pitcher. He does not go much length at all. Rich Hill will probably give you 5. That's been his ceiling for like the last 3 years?
Yeah, he's gone. He did go 6 last time out, but that's the only time he's pitched out of the 5th this season.
But the Mariners are calling up a pitching prospect who doesn't have much of a track record. I think Boston does decently well here. I'll take the Red Sox.
Yeah, I worry about the youngster first time at Fenway.
Yeah, I don't like Boston's bullpen, but so maybe first 5. But
okay.
Boston, I don't mind that. They've been playing better recently.
All right, very good. Do you have any Preakness thoughts?
I do not.
Okay.
Do you have any?
I don't. I haven't looked at the field. I'll be honest with you to see who's. I just know Rich Strike is out, so I want to.
No Triple Crown this year.
Right, no Triple Crown this year. So I want to see who's in. I want to see who didn't run the Kentucky Derby that maybe has a shot at this one. So I got to do a little research. Maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow a little bit.
If you wanted my initial thoughts, I would pick Epicenter.
Yeah, I mean that
horse came in second in the Kentucky.
Hot take, everybody.
Yeah, first is out, and Epicenter's still a good horse.
Yeah.
So if you wanted my initial thoughts in a limited field, because usually a lot of trainers tend to skip the Preakness.
Yeah, about half the field usually, or less.
About half the field, including the winner, which is very rare, of the Kentucky. I'll go with Epicenter. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel.
Okay. All right, very good. Yeah, in a normal year where that horse didn't come from nowhere to win, Epicenter did a great job down the stretch holding him off.
That's also usually why you see a lot of the Kentucky Derby winners going for Triple Crowns. You rarely see them mess up in the Preakness. It's because the Preakness is the weakest field of all 3 Triple Crown races every year by a wide margin.
Yep.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah. It's that mile and a half at the Belmont that
pretty much
that gets everybody with it. That fucking stretch. The home stretch just never ends.
But for Triple Crown, of course, you got to win the first race. Usually, I don't know the percentages, but I would say usually the winner of the Kentucky tends to also win the Preakness.
Be interesting.
And they stumble in the Belmont. That's usually my selective recall for horses. Do you have the same recall there?
Yeah. I don't know if it's accurate or not, but yeah, I do see that as well.
Feels that way.
Rick says he's taking a break from sports betting. See you when football starts.
Well, you got USFL.
I was gonna say like this weekend when Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you're
plays?
coming back in like a day or 2. So I'm rooting for you, Rick.
All right, buddy. Hey, man, let's get to it, shall we? Let's take a look and see what we got cooked up here. It is that time of the day for everybody to get in your closet. Get those overalls on, man. Put on your straw hat. Climb aboard your John Deere. Get your keys out. Put them in the ignition because you know what? It's exciting. It's exciting time, and it's the time that everybody waits for. So get ready, kids, because once again, it's time to bet the farm. All righty, Scott, how are you?
Doing well.
Good to see you.
Howdy.
It looks like you're wearing a headband with that. It's like that's like the best look ever.
Yep.
All right. So, how did we do yesterday, Scott? I know we had to bet the farm play. We do any good?
Yeah, we had the Yankees first 5 -1 at around -115. Cole gave up no runs. The Yankees scored more than 1 run. Nice, easy winner.
The Yankees win. Cue the banjos. Yeehaw! All right, my friend. Well, we had to do a little last-minute backpedaling on this one, but I think we got something that I'm a big fan of this one. What is it, Scott?
So for this one, we're going to go with a Heat player. And we're going to take the under in Bam Adebayo points. It's actually a -110. I wrote down the wrong number. It's -110 at under 15.5 points, and the number's too high. He scored less than 16 points in 4 of his last 5 games. He's attempted less than 8 field goals in each of the last 3 games. I did read somewhere it's pretty tough to score when you're not shooting the ball. He has scored less than 16 points in 3 of his 4 meetings against Boston this season. And of course, Al Horford is back. We know that Horford and Robert Williams, very good defensive players. And realistically, we know that Adebayo is a solid offensive player. But based on how Miami's been playing in the playoffs, it seems like he's becoming a growing afterthought in the offense. 15.5 for a guy that really has not been doing much offensively for the last week and change. The number's way too high. Give us the under 15.5 points.
There you go. That is our farm play for today. Bam Adebayo under 15.5 points. That is available at minus 110 at Caesars, not the 120 on your board. It is minus 110. So take advantage of that. Get down on the farm and expect to cash that ticket to run our streak to 3 straight. It's a winning streak.
You want to add?
What?
You have anything you want to add?
I was just adding stuff.
Well, I was saying on the Adebayo stuff.
No, I think this is all about the fact that Horford is back, and this Boston defense is going to look more like they look throughout the regular season. And again, I think you made a great point about Adebayo just not being a main part of the offensive focus right now. He's kind of turning into a defensive specialist and just a force in the middle, but he's not the scoring threat that he once was.
And even with Horford missing game 1, Adebayo played 37 minutes. He scored 10 points.
Yeah.
So now Boston's defense got better, and Adebayo should struggle with Robert Williams and Horford guarding him the entire time.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Miami try to open it up a little bit from outside the perimeter too.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So that's the farm. That's the show. You guys have a great Thursday. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it as always. Of course, don't forget to check out all the great offerings here at the Max Wagers Network. But especially, we want to make sure that you stop by and see us each and every weekday, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Scott and I will once again do our best to help you in that journey to head back to the window. Take care, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Cool.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
All right. Well, nothing to that.
I saw the White Sox screwed you.
What's that?
Straight into the bases loaded.
Did they really? Motherfuckers.
I think your volume's off. Are you muted?
Huh? That's brutal.
I can't hear you.
Thinking about taking.
Can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
No.
That's weird.
Did you hit the mute button on StreamYard?
Nope.
It doesn't matter. I don't think we really have much more to talk about. Let me know what the NASCAR cutoffs are, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, later.
Is Rye on the show? You can nod. Is he on? He's not a regular now? Okay.
He is a regular.
Okay, cool.
He's
Sounds
just
good.
He's not on
I'll see
tomorrow.
you.
All right.
I still can't hear you, but let me know.